I did it. I bought an i3. An i3 smart band. Smartwatch? Smart band. We're going to go with smart band, which is also what was on the box. The i3 HR smart band. And a quick thing of why I actually ended up buying this. So, at some point, I started to think to myself that I really needed to pick up an Apple Watch. Not so much because I liked how it looked, not so much because I wanted to have my text messages on my wrist or anything like that, but primarily because I wanted to make as much use as I could off of the Apple Health app. Something clicked in my head at some point, and I was like, you know what, let's be healthy and live a fit fam lifestyle. And the Apple Health app comes into play a lot with that, as it tracks almost everything that goes on, or it could track everything that goes on. And the problem is that the iPhone on its own doesn't track everything. So I wanted to track a couple more things. I wanted to really track my steps. I don't have my phone with me all the time. I want to track how far I'm walking, how much walking I'm doing on a daily basis, and so forth. So I started to browse Amazon, and I was like, you know what? Before I go jump out there and spend $350 or $379 now on a brand new Apple Watch, let me go ahead and see if this is something that I can actually see myself using, because I love watches, and it's very hard for me to not have a real watch on, and I just can't process in my head that the Apple Watch is a real watch. So I was like, you know what, let me go see if this is something that I'll actually wear. Let me browse on Amazon and let me find something that works with the Apple Health app and that is relatively cheap, so I can see if it's a device that I can actually see myself keeping on for long periods of time in order to properly track all the things that it should be tracking. Here's what I came up with. So, the i3 Smart Band HR cost me $34.99 shipped off of Amazon Prime. And to properly give you guys a little bit of a review of what this thing is actually like, not just its features and its functions, I have been wearing it almost nonstop for the, I would say, last 4 days now. So, I've worked out with it. I've used pretty much most of its functions that I could make use of and that I could understand. Here's what we got. So, basic things first. $34.99 off Amazon Prime. Link will be down in the description below. Flexible wristband here, adjustable to pretty much any size that you may require. This thing will work off of your Android. This thing will work off of your iPhone. There is an app you can download in the Play Store called Zeroner Health app, and I'll show you guys screenshots of that as we go through this. That works with this thing, and it syncs with Apple Health, which is pretty much the key points that I wanted to have in this in a smart band for myself. Works off of Bluetooth. Works very well. Has a battery life that I wish all of the electronics I owned would have half of. It is amazing. When I got it, I didn't charge it at all for the first 2.5 days, and then I charged it. It took maybe an hour to an hour and a half to top up, and it was full. While we're on the actual topic of charging, let me show you guys what it's like to charge this thing. Hold on. It was a bit hard to do with one hand, so I had to put the camera down for a bit, but this thing literally slides out. And then it's a USB stick that you can go ahead, plug into your USB port, and charge up. Take me about an hour and a half, and it was almost full. So as you can see, we're going through some messages on there. So since that happened, we might as well get into the main features of this thing. So the main screen, and it constantly turns off in order to kind of save its battery and so forth. The main screen will show you the weather and the temperature that it is outside. It will show you the time, the date. It will show if you have any messages. It will show the status signal that it's connected and the battery. You can also get these things and the battery display in a percentage through the app on your phone, so you don't necessarily have to always look at this thing for it. So it has a couple different features. If you just click onto the screen, it'll go through what each one of the features are within each menu. So off the home screen, if you click, you'll get the steps that you've walked for the day, the kilocalories,
your estimated walking distance, and if this was properly on my wrist, then it would also tell me what my heart rate is. Now, a key thing about the heart rate that I've noticed, if you're going to make proper use of it, you really should put it, nice and firmly flat on the very top of your wrist in order for it to properly get a reading. So don't keep it, very, very, very loose. It'll figure itself out, though, pretty much as it goes, and you can also monitor your health rate data in the Zerona Health app as well. So that pretty much takes care of the functions off this screen. If we swipe on it, we'll get to the next thing, which is messages, which will pull up the latest 8 messages or notifications that you had on your phone, and it will, let you go through them. Interestingly enough. If we go next, we'll get into our training mode, which, depending on what you set up in the Zerona Health app, would let you select various options that if you press and hold, you can activate, and that will start keeping track of, let's say, your activity during a specific workout or during a run or something along those lines. And whenever you're done, you could just... and it'll give you your stats for that activity and the calories that you have used up and the distance that you've went. Functions has a couple cool things. Find phone, which does absolutely nothing on my iPhone. Whether or not that's because of my iPhone or not, I do not know. Oh, this thing doesn't always work phenomenally. Got to swipe all the way from the bottom. No disturb mode, which is when you're going to sleep, put it on no disturb mode so it doesn't keep vibrating on your wrist for all the notifications off of your phone. Dial lets you, let's go into dial. Dial lets you customize how you want the front display to look. And I frankly just prefer the simple look that it has in option 1. But you may want to change that as you wish. And next option is information, which just gives you the MAC address and the version of the phone and so forth. Of the phone, of this smartband thing. And power off if you want to turn the device off. And then the last option is schedule, which does not sync with your calendar, at least it doesn't here on the iPhone. So this has its own little scheduling app that you have inside the Zerona Health app, which again I'll show you guys screenshots of as we go through. And that's where you can set up little alerts and notifications that this will go ahead and send out to you through vibrations off of the watch. Interesting little thing.
So base stats and features aside, what is this thing actually like to use on a day-by-day basis? Here's what I got. First off, I have never been more in touch with what my heart rate is. What happens to it when I drink coffee, what it's like during a workout, what else I should be doing in my workout in order to get my heart rate going even, higher than it is. That's definitely made me more aware of that. I realized that I walk a lot more on a daily basis than I thought I did, which is also great. Very happy about that, and it does entice me to walk more and to walk further. Notifications, for example, if you got a message or you missed a phone call or something like that, don't go off the screen. So what happens when one of them comes in and you didn't clear it is the next time you pull up the watch to look at it, it'll show you that notification. And you'll have to swipe to clear it in order for you to see what you wanted to see, which is maybe the time or your heart rate or whatever else it's on. That's annoying. It has a mode that lets it automatically detect when you have turned your wrist. It doesn't always work. It's mad at me. It will work if you just tap it, but it has moments. It's $34.99. It didn't cost $34.99 to produce. It cost a lot less because Amazon has to get paid and the shipping company, and they still have to make a profit off of this thing that they have to make in bulk and ship over. There's plenty of people that have to make profit, and it didn't cost $34.99 to make, and we get that. And honestly, I'm completely okay with it. I think that for the $35, this is a pretty good purchase because it's $35 that's going to, in some way, shape, or form, make you healthier. Whether it is because it has, mentally is making you be more active just so you can see numbers go up, because I mean, we like to see numbers go up. Okay, this is why video games work that have high scores. I definitely think it's a great thing for the $35 that it costs. It charges quick. Its battery lasts a long time, literally a long time. I mean, I keep this thing on when I sleep. I have never, ever pressed the power off function on this thing since I got it. Since I got it, I took it out of its packaging and I opened it up and I turned it on, and I've never turned it off. The instruction manual, by the way, that it comes with is not very straightforward, and neither is the Zerona Health app. It's roughly translated. It's there. The point will eventually come across to you. Like, I didn't really understand that in order to select different training modes, it's pointless. In order to select different training modes that I showed you earlier, you had to actually preset that workout in the Zerona Health app, and set it, for example, as fitness or as running or something like that, so that you can then go and select that when you're at the gym and record it. It has its little quirks. It keeps track of your heart rate, which keeps itself recorded, and a whole history graph and everything else like that in the Zerona Health app, but it does not send that data to the Apple Health app, for example. So I have been manually inputting various different numbers just so I can keep track of things in one place in my Apple Health app, but it doesn't do that for you. It does kind of sync up with the Apple Health app as far as the steps and as far as your distance walked. The numbers that Apple Health app will display as opposed to this will absolutely never match up, and I'm not 100% sure who's really more right and more accurate on it, because this should take into effect when I'm walking around without my phone and put those numbers together, and I guess I'm assuming that's what the Apple Health app is doing, and this thing is just keeping track of me walking nonstop with this. I'm not sure if it's missing up and thinking like me wiggling my wrist around or something is some sort of step or emotion, but the numbers seem more or less there compared to what my numbers were showing previously to me getting one of these things and putting it on. That being said, guys, I think if you're considering an Apple Watch and your choices for that are more on the health side rather than the fact that you want all of your notifications and everything right on your phone, I would definitely consider picking up one of these smart bands like this. So with that being said, guys, I think really for the $35, it's well worth it to go ahead and pick up one of these little smart bands and give them a trial run and see if the whole concept of having one of these things on all the time and measuring your heart rate and doing the functions and everything through here is something that you're really okay with before you go out and even spend the $119 on a Fitbit, or the $300 on an Apple smartwatch. Give it a trial run. See if you're okay with it. For me, honestly, I don't think I need to go and pick up an Apple Watch because this is kind of doing the work for me. There's a couple of more health monitoring things that the Apple Watch will do for me, but this right now is getting the job done. And frankly, I think if I ever need anything more, I might just look for a newer version of one of these, and they might incorporate more sensors and more things into it by then, which I'm sure they will. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, any questions, anything like that, leave them down in the comments below. We'll see you guys soon.